Hi guys, this is a really quick tutorial on how to give your character health. You can do it for a variety of reasons if they get hit by projectiles or whatever. The important thing is that you understand the process. If a material, so it could be a bad guy's material, a projectile material, it could be, I don't know, a river of lava's material, it could be anything. If they hit this guy, then it knocks some off the health. First thing we need to do then is to give this guy a health property. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the guy, add game property, and we're going to call it health. And because it counts, we're going to call it an integer. And we're going to set the starting health to be 10. Could be whatever you want, 100, could come down in intervals of 10, 1%, it's up to you. I'm going to have health, and it's got a health of 10. What I'm then going to do is I can pull this over slightly. I can say if this bad guy, if our main character collides, so we'll set up a collision sensor. So we'll call it health drop. If he collides with material properties, the bad guy, which is this guy, then what's going to happen is our property health, we want to add to our health property -1 so that it counts down from 10. Again, if you set your health to 100, that could be -1, it could be -10, it could be -5, could be anything. So if we crash into him now, it doesn't actually do anything. In fact, we can push him all the way off. But if we crash into him, it should be taking -1 off of our health every single time. What we're then going to do is we're going to send a message, because I've created a heads-up display. Now, I taught you how to do this in the previous tutorials for heads-up display. I've created sort of like a little heart that spins around, and I've added a text with the number 10. However, it hasn't got any properties. So what we need to do for this sort of health here, this text, is give it a click, add a text game property, set it to integer, and again that's going to start at 10 because we've already written the word 10 in there, the number's 10. We're going to look out for a message and we'll call it health drop, and I'm just going to put HD for health drop, capital letters. And for the property, we'll call it health drop again. We're going to add to the text -1. So basically every time it gets a message, it will knock 1 off the text, which works quite nicely. So what we do is we go back to level 1 and we say for this guy, when he collides, you can see the collision here, with the object, it's going to knock 1 off the health. But let's also, in fact, before we do this, let's go back to the heads-up display and let's name our text. So we'll call it health. Named the text. So when we come back to level 1, what we're going to do now is we're going to add a message. Call it health drop. And we're going to send the message to our health text. And the subject was HD, capitals. So basically what we're doing now is every time we collide with the red cube, it means that our property health goes down 1, but it also sends a message so that our visual health should go down 1. And you can see it doing it there. Every time I collide with it, you can see my health going down. Now, that's just cosmetic. It doesn't really do anything. And you'll see that it'll go right the way through to -1, which is not really what we want. So what we could do is we could set up another line of code that restricts that from happening. So I've taught you how to do this before. We just need a property sensor, and we'll call it life, because when we get down to the end, we want to restart the game. And we want to say that if our life or our health for our property health equals 0. So if our health gets down to 0, then we want to add a scene actuator. And we can do two things. If we join that up, we could actually make it so that now if our health ever gets down to 0, it's going to restart the game. Let's see if that works. So 1, 2. Okay, one more, 0, and it's restarted the game for me. But what we could also do is set the scene and make it change scene to a different scene, and we could maybe have set up an animation saying like game over or something like that, or maybe an animation of the character dying. So if you've seen games like for example Gran Turismo, when they finish or they die, they don't die, sorry, when they get across the finish line, it cuts straight away to an animation. So we could use the set scene feature to do that. In this case, I'm just leaving it as restart. Awesomeness level, probably about a 4. It's alright. It just means that you've got health on your game. I think it's an important part of any game. But what's really important now is that I've taught you how to create ammo, health, and a score. So what you could start to do is maybe in Photoshop or something like that, start to create a really cool sort of heads-up display around here that your character could have. That's it. Over to the next tutorial.